Okay, 98-13 install video. First step, pull your maxi fuse out of your left side cover. Next thing we're going to do is pull the ignition tumbler. Keep this in a 12 o'clock position. You're going to put it in there. Push the woodruff key under here. Turn to the left. That should pop up and eject right out. Okay. Brooke, can you grab me a crescent wrench? Next thing we're going to do is take these T25s off the side. Right here. Right here. Thank you, sir. Okay. Leave all this here. You're going to need that to go back in. Crescent wrench. Loosen that little nut. Okay, you got 3 pieces here. They're going to come up and off. And put those aside. Okay, now we're going to pull our plate up. That'll pop out. And the little plate comes out. And you're going to get to this quick disconnect. Okay, next step is in the directions we have this figure 8 shape. We're going to mark on here. You're going to leave those 2 holes there because that's what the panel is going to nut and bolt down through there. So I'm going to take an air Dremel and we're going to carefully cut these out. Real nice and easy. Okay, so clean that up with a little bit of sandpaper, and I'm not going to do that now for video purposes. Okay, now our little panel that's got these nuts and bolts on it, take those off. This is the part where you got to do a little bit of playing around to get this to pass through here just perfect. Okay. And depending on the year, now you see you'll have this gap here. Okay, so what we have to do is notch these down so that this can slide down some. So I'm going to come like so. Set down a little bit. Yeah, it's not completely critical because this is going to nut and bolt into place like so. And I'm going to still notch it a little bit more. You might bust through there, not a big deal. Okay, now for this year, that is your basic shape that we have cut in here. Panel is going to go on and everything looks good. Everything looks good. It looks like I can push it this way a little bit. So I'm going to take a little notch out of this corner. Okay, panel goes on. Now I'm going to loosen up. We're going to check it from the back. And there's the fitment. Okay, now I can see, hey, my nut is hitting right here, so I'm going to have to cut some more. Alright, once you got that panel in and everything looks good, we're going to tighten up these number 10 nuts on the back. That's a 3/8 deep reach socket. Okay, and you want to, hold this in that exact position where it's perfect while you're tightening this down. And don't worry about which button is ignition or accessory yet. Once we put the harness on, you'll be able to flip-flop that around where you want it. And so now this is what I consider the hard part, which is cutting that, getting that panel all on there for the push button system. Now we're going to move on to the harness and the final install. Okay, now we're back over at the bike. I'm going to get this ignition tumbler off. This is not going to get used. 5/32 Allen on both sides. We're going to get this up. Behind there is going to be the main power coming in that turns the bike on and off. Okay, so we're going to loosen these little number 10 screws, 1024 screws, pull that up. This is where this gets a little tough. Pulling this up, you got to kind of shake and shimmy it a little bit. Okay, now that we got this off, usually you got to take a screwdriver in here and pop that black tab out, and that pulls out. Okay, like I said, this is not going to get used. We're going to put this to the side. Okay, now we are ready to get our harness on here. First thing you're going to do with the harness is the ground that's going to go on the handlebar ground right there. Okay, so I'm going to loosen this up with little 5/16. Okay, we're going to get at that little nut. This is the handlebar ground. Okay, once we got that loose, this is just kind of put your new harness here. We're going to put this ground from my harness in. We're going to make sure we still have the other ground in. This is all without taking the fairing off. Not taking the fairing off. It's right in here. For video purposes, we have the tank off. It is tremendously easier to do this with the tank off. You know, a lot of times on these new bikes, they're not hard. And once I get that in there, I'm gonna tighten that right back down. And that's good. Okay, so if you would like to use the optional kill switch, which a lot of people mount in here, they hide in here, all you're going to do is pull that and plug and play right into there, and then the ground for the relay packs is interrupted with this little valet switch, and then you're going to hide this somewhere here. This is included if you want to use it. Okay, next step, we're going to match up. Red goes right in the middle. Black goes to red black. Okay, and gray goes to red gray. Okay, now I'm not gonna... Okay, next step, I'm going to just put some E-tape over here to make sure this stays nice and secure. Okay, now we're going to take our relay pack, loop this in, and we're going to zip tie this right around the handlebars for now. Next time you got your fairing off, you may want to put this in a little better of a mount spot, but that's going to mount right back underneath of there. Okay, zippy that in. Nope, wrong one. Yeah, replace. Okay, rest of this slack's going to get kind of tucked up in here. And now we got our connectors that are marked ignition and accessory. Okay, so now is when you get to pick, hey, do I want ignition below or accessory up top, vice versa, vice versa. Normally I do ignition on the bottom. Here's where you got to be careful. You got 1 tine, 4 tines. We're going to look in there. You see you got 3 over here, 1 over here. You've got to make sure you match that single side up right on there like so. You'll feel a click. Same thing over here, single side, multiple side, single side matches right up. And you can see the blue going down through. And that is it. If you got your switch pack here, you'll connect that back up. We're going to put this right back into place. Tuck these wires up underneath. And now we're going to put our T25 back into place. Okay, struggling a little bit here. Okay, now we're going to put our maxi fuse back in. Okay, final video segment of the install. Now keep in mind, this was, if you have factory security fobs, these will work exactly the same. If the fob's in the house, this bike will not turn on. If you don't have factory security and you want the optional kill switch, you can go ahead and install that on the ground. Okay, we have this set. Bottom button is ignition. I press this, the whole bike is on. Radio, start button, start, headlight, we're ready to go. If I want to go into ignition, I hit the if I want to go into accessory, I hit the second button. I'm now in accessory. The light for ignition has gone out. Both buttons are depressed. Okay. Bike is off again. Now, if we hit just the accessory button by itself, nothing is going to happen. I tell people, look at it like this. If you want to jump right into accessory, we're going to take both buttons, depress them at the same time. You'll see just the accessory light is on. If you want to fly back into ignition, you just depress, both lights come on, we're back in ignition, ready to ride the bike. Okay, and that's it. That's the 98 to 13 push button ignition system.